continue. Thank you for doing that.
Okay. Ashley.
Yes.
Oh, this is being recorded. Continue. Ashley, I have a question. Did you get the email I sent with Blue Rising? I think I copied you on the Blue Rising thing. I just wanted to, because I remember in the resolutions committee meeting last Saturday, they were trying to claim that they were being hands off from their organization, which, you know, and I regret not really busting them out on that, but you should have their email and my response to their thing.
All right, I will look into my email. I'll let you know after
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to give you a heads up that I'd sent that a while back. I'd forgotten about it last Saturday pretty much, and I had kind of, but I think if Blue Rising tries to come up with some bull hockey, and I can tell you this much, you know, I got on their mailing because I supported one of their candidates years ago, and it is doubtful. I certainly won't be giving money to Blue Rising anymore. And I would think long and hard if I would support any of their candidates. It would depend on the candidate, of course, or at least support in terms of giving money. It would be one of those, it depends, but it would be a presumptive that I would probably not want to give them money.
Jerry, you're notable enough with the Democratic circles that if you ever put what was the old version of the palm card, who you do or don't support, but you did that in a fundraising standpoint of literally saying no to these candidates or saying yes to candidates, you have a following. You could make waves doing it.
That's a good point, and that's the thing is, you know, sometimes I'm not totally purist, quote unquote, because my state rep, she's supported by HMP, and they unfortunately take some money from organizations I would prefer they not take money from. But I think that's more of a function of trying to educate her, because I know she's not into privatization of education, but she's with it, but she does get money from HMP, and they are not shy about taking DFR money. So
I just like what you as an individual and putting out that type of message lets you get, you're not stuck in your district.
Right. Oh, you give money to all sorts of people for good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. You give $10 to somebody, you're on all the lists, so you get hit up all the time.
Right. Yeah,
let's definitely put that on the agenda to talk about. I'll put that in discussion. So
I love that. They have to email you, Jerry, because you're on the DNC.
All right, I'm gonna go live. Right. Okay, we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is setting up meeting for Facebook Live. Okay, I think we are now streaming live on Facebook. And my name is Ashley Weber, and I'm Executive Director of Colorado NORML. This is our second virtual chapter meeting. And this month we will be celebrating Women's History Month. And I look forward to speaking with Susan Squibb and Tai Lam, as well as Carla Boyd. She is here with us and going to be cooking up some of her Hempway Foods recipes. And with us we have on our board, we're gonna start out with the women first. And we're gonna go with Tai, if you would like to introduce yourself first, please.
Sorry, so rusty.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we all can hear you.
Darn it. Can you folks hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, yeah.
Hello?
While she figures hers out, Julie, I will text her in our little chat and let her know we can hear her. If you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Oh, who are we talking to? Sorry.
Oh, you can hear us now.
Yes.
All right, Tai, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, so my name is Tai Lam. Originally from Vietnam, been here way too long. Been in this country for about 34 years. I am in the marijuana industry for going on 12 years. I own Kind Meds, and a couple of MIPS, and we are medical only.
And Julie, you would be next.
Unmute me. I'm always afraid that my parrot's going to say something obnoxious in the background, so I stay muted. I'm Julie Richardson. I have been a community organizer and media marketing specialist for the past 30 years. I've worked with Catholic charities, I've worked with Volunteers of America, and a lot of the work I did was in rural communities, education, housing, veterans, and then housing several times, and a lot of disaster recovery. In 2014, I was diagnosed with cancer and my epilepsy was getting worse. So I put my youngest son in school, loaded a U-Haul van, and me and 2 dogs and a parrot came out to Colorado, and the rest has been just an amazing restart to life at 50. So.
Thank you. Next, Jerry, one of our longest board members, part of the DNC, an attorney, and a very underappreciated individual. Jerry Shepard, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ashley. You are too kind. I'm Jerry Shepard. I've been in Colorado since '74 and Greeley since '86. I moved here for work. I'm still practicing part-time. I'm also an activist on various issues, including cannabis. I was a volunteer circulator for 4 different proposed initiatives. 2 of them actually made the ballot, and the last one was Amendment 64. We also try to support good legislation as part of Colorado NORML and oppose bad legislation. And last weekend, some of us were on the call with the Resolutions Committee, which I am on, with a fairly comprehensive resolution that we're asking the Democratic State Central Committee to meet. Any of you who are Republicans, you can get your Republican friends to support cannabis as well. This isn't just exclusively Democratic, just to give you a heads up on that. But we're trying to get some positive policies. We anticipate a very bad reefer madness type bill coming down. We want to kind of nip it in the bud now. Ideally, we can persuade the state rep who is sponsoring it not to push through and maybe come up with some other ideas to solve whatever problems they think need to be solved. So that's it for me. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for everything you can do to advance cannabis and to advance freedom.
Thank you, Jerry. Lenny.
Who? I'll talk about myself. Okay. I'm 12 and a half years old. This is my bar mitzvah preparation class. And if the rabbi doesn't show up soon, I'm ditching. Wasn't that the right speech?
Perfect.
I'm the guy they call in when they need some gray hair that can clean up well, and I've been working at this since probably 1970. I graduated Rutgers Law in 1975 and was in Boulder, Colorado with a U-Haul 6 weeks later. I've been here ever since, and some people tell me I'm a marijuana activist, and they're very honest people, so they're probably right. You know, what do you say? Do you list the boards? Do you list the chairs? I am very proud of having created the Colorado Bar Association Cannabis Law Section. That was a good achievement. I'll shut up now.
Thank you, Lenny. You've done so much for cannabis. And last but not least, Chris.
Chris Chiari, currently serving as Deputy Director of Colorado NORML, a longtime cannabis consumer. Literally just crossed the threshold of 1 decade, where a decade ago I made the decision to never be dishonest about my personal use of cannabis, and hopefully let the work that I did professionally and the fact that I was a cannabis consumer play, if even the smallest part, in that path that we've all worked on towards destigmatizing normal behavior. Forgive me for bobbing in and out of the shot. I'm just trying to keep us Facebook compliant, but you all know what I'm doing, because I just told you what I am, and I'm not ashamed of that. So really glad to be here, and especially on Women's History Month with some extraordinary leaders that we have as part of this team and this board, and some extraordinary leaders in their in the impact they've made in cannabis with both Susan and Carla. So excited for the meeting today. Happy to be here and happy to be of use.
Thank you. Carla, are you there even though we see?
Yes.
All right, hon. I would like to have Julie. She's going to be introducing our 3 speakers today, and I'm going to have her take it from here.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, Carla, we're going to do like a mini little introduction with you, give you about 5 minutes, let you go to what you're creating, and then we're going to have the speaker speak and then come back to you at the end. Does that sound workable?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds
Let me tell you a little bit about my friend Carla. Now, my goal in this, I wrote notes for everybody, is to make you cry. No, I'm just kidding. Carla was one of the first people that I met when I got to Colorado, and really made me feel like Canna family. And she served on the board of Mile High NORML in 2009. We may need to do something about that. But during that time, she worked in various cannabis jobs. Throughout her own diet and health issues, she got really innovated and developed the fabulous food line Hempway Foods in 2014. Her work got her noticed on such a large level. By 2018, in just 4 years, she was listed in the Hemp Connoisseurs top 100 people you should know. And I can tell you, as my friend, she is absolutely somebody that you should know. I love you, Carla. Go ahead.
okay. Making sure I was unmuted. I love you too, darling. Thank you so much. Yeah, you summed it up in a nutshell. Do I even need to speak? No. This company was created out of, pure passion. I've been in the industry since 2009 in various capacities, and then kind of jumped to the hemp side in 2011, got pretty passionate on that, and then had some health issues, and I knew all about it. And then I was like, well, why am I not using hemp to see what I can do to create a food product that I can eat infeasibly, because I have tons of allergies: gluten, dairy, corn, soy, all the above. So yeah, it was just a long journey. My neighbor tried it a lot, A, B, and C, and made a lot of notes. And then it became a company, and a lot of it was just strictly because of the people that came up and talked to us and said how amazing the product was and how excited. Like, I've got a lady that she gets my product like 5 and 6 boxes at a time of all 3. And she told me the other day, she sent me a message and she's like, you really need to know that your product changed my life. And anybody can use the ingredients and do the same thing. It's just, knowing ingredients and creating a product, but it's so allergen friendly. It's gluten, it's dairy, it's corn, it's soy free. It's not just about being a veggie burger. It is or even a veggie product, because we have 3 different products, but it's packed with nutrition. It's manganese, magnesium, potassium. Hemp is such an amazing product. It's a beautiful superfood. It's it helps you absorb other nutrients when you couple it with, like say when you're eating flax and chia, you're absorbing those nutrients better when you couple it with the hemp, because of it has, I call it like an uptake, so to speak. But yeah, it's great just to sprinkle on salads or whatever you do. But yeah, it's just, we have a burger, we have an Italian sausage, which is like a little 2.5 ounce breakfast patty. And then we have a crumble. The crumble is the same as the burger. It's just a loose version. And that's actually what we're going to do the food demo tonight. Just kind of some simple tacos that you can do at home. But yeah, the industry in a lot of ways has helped so much. And without my customers and my, the advocacy, getting Hempway Foods, we wouldn't be here, because it's definitely been an uphill journey taking a frozen food company into mainstream. We should be getting our final okay with Whole Foods. Waiting on that. So we've been really excited to make the big announcement on that. And it's like any day now, we're just expecting that first purchase order. So it's been really exciting. So the growth 2021 is going to be a big year for us, but it has been an extremely long 7 years, that's for sure. But a lot of it is just because of the support from the industry that we've had behind us. And because I've heard
it's almost a thing, if you're going to have an event, you have to have Chris Bedrosian, you got to have her hemp tea there, and you got to have you. I mean, isn't it a rule? I really think it's a rule. Well, what are you making for us now?
We're going to do tacos.
Okay.
Just real simple. I figured it was Tuesday, so Taco Tuesday.
Right.
But yeah, just show some really simple tacos that anyone can do at home with the crumbles, but throw other ingredients to add some extra nutritional kick to it. And
I think my favorite way, and I still need to get with Chris, the event we had, it was a healthy 420, and they had these luscious little lettuce wraps with your crumbles with a peanut sauce in there and pickled vegetables. Oh my gosh. So simple. But
I still remember those. They were so delicious. I still remember those. They were
me too.
Amazing.
Yeah, we definitely need to corner that chef and find out.
You are a welcome guest chef at the Patterson Inn anytime you want, and it can be of use.
So Ashley, I guess we're gonna let Carla go and get to her cooking, and we're going to who next?
Let's have Susan Squibb speak. I would love to. I can't wait to hear what Susan has to say. She has done so much in the industry and been in the industry for so long, and what she has made out of Mother's High Tea, I'm proud to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's, if for those of you watching that and you don't know what Mother's High Tea is, that is the event of the season. You get to dress up, you wear fancy hats, everybody looks beautiful, you can bring your family, and it's very cultured and very lovely. She's also known as the hemp maven, and then a co-developer or developer of the hemp ice cream. And that's how I fell in love with you. I went to work at that company because I wanted to have first hands-on experience, and ran the kitchen for a while. And I read these notes, and this brilliant woman, and how she developed this. And I had a friendship before she didn't know me. So when I did get to know her, I was kind of obnoxious because I felt like through our passion for healthy food and doing things the right way and sustainable practices, there's so much in common. So without me raving on anymore, Susan, I'm going to turn this over to you and give you your 15 minutes.
Thank you so much, Julie. And thank you so much to Ashley for inviting me to participate in this meeting. Before I begin, I would like to thank, or as I begin, I would like to thank my mother and my grandmothers who loved me unconditionally and helped create the woman that is here today. I would also like to thank Jerry Shepard, who was giving legal advice and legal strategy when I came on the Colorado cannabis scene in 1996. Jerry was already here, so thank you, Jerry, for being here and continuing to fight the fight. I would also like to honor our California, San Francisco ancestress, Brownie Mary. Brownie Mary, August 25th of every year is Brownie Mary Day in San Francisco. For those who know, what a reminder of how awesome she is. The medical marijuana community kind of grew alongside or with as a result of the AIDS crisis in San Francisco. So Brownie Mary was someone who would take infused foods, infused brownies to patients that were being ostracized because of the unknown factors of what is HIV, what is AIDS. And so San Francisco was so grateful for her help at such a stressful and difficult time socially and politically, that August 25th is Brownie Mary Day. So hats off to a famous and influential woman in cannabis, Brownie Mary. I would also like to give a shout out to Sister Samaya, who was a LA-based patient. And she, I knew her through hemp oil. She had sickle cell anemia. She was an advocate for marijuana, and she utilized hemp oil to treat her sickle cell anemia. The omega fats and the properties of omega fats would kind of lubricate her blood stream, so she would not get the clots, blood clots, that is known as a part of sickle cell anemia. So just wanted to make those those honors before I start. So I want to talk about three major things. One is the importance of International Women's Day, which is the day after. So happy day after International Women's Day, everybody. And then also women's history. Why is that important? And then I also want to talk about Mother's High Tea, and then go through a few of items from my archive. I will be giving a presentation with the History Colorado Center. I have been in my quarantine times digging out and going through my archives over the past 25 years and giving History Colorado Center the first opportunity to take whatever they would want for their archives. And so on April 15th at 6 p.m., I will be giving a presentation and highlighting some of the items that I have donated in the archive. So that's coming up this month. So first, what the importance of Women's Day and National Women's History Month. So I was thinking, that rabble rouser, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Trumper rep, and there was some kerfuffle about gender, and she made this tweet or some statement about how there's, God created only two genders, man and woman, and period, that's it. And then there was some little Twitter fallout, and someone pointed out that, well, actually, the Bible says there's a man is a gender, and then a woman was the rib. And I mentioned that I've just been thinking about that, of how so many processes, society, religious doctrine, all of these larger scale theories, concepts, things that drive us, emerges from that, and how on one hand I don't like that. Who wants to feel like they're not even a person, that they were created from a body part? And I don't really subscribe to the sense that a man is the creator. I would think that a man would be birthed from a woman or Mother Earth or some concept. So that's something that I tend to prefer. But I've just been thinking a lot about these overall concepts, and how even if we have these personal beliefs of this is how I feel, this is how I act in my life, there seems to be reminders, as women, we can be reminded that no, we're not, you're not as empowered as you think you are, or society doesn't value you as much as you think society should. And that there's always these opportunities where men, or just piggish people, can remind women that no, you're not all that. You are second class because you are a woman, or because there is something that they're reacting to. And that in itself is really challenging, because we are so much more than what we are embodied. And that there's a duality that I think harms everyone. But these are just some of the thoughts that I've been thinking in regards to women and men and patriarchy, things like that. So thanks for allowing that to sink in, and let's move on and talk about Mother's High Tea, shall we? So Mother's High Tea for me is a feminist event. And it's not a feminist event in the sense that it's a political organization, because it's not. It's a social event. And we don't necessarily prescribe to, and we're Democratic leaning, but it's both. I mean, we've had Republican speakers and we've had Democratic speakers as well, but it's feminist in the sense that it's a women's event. It's for women. And, men are certainly invited, as, we've, Chris has attended, and many other men. But that's the core of it, is that it's for women, and that women need we need spaces. We need spaces where we feel safe. We need to have spaces where we belong. And that was really the sort of one of the foundations for the event. The first Mother's High Tea happened in 2011, and it really came about for a personal need for me, because I needed to have a community of women around me. That in the fall of 2010, I lost my mother to ovarian cancer. And I was a complete total wreck. For anyone that has lost a parent or lost their mother, and they were, close to, what that kind of loss feels like. And so I really needed to do something around Mother's Day of the following spring in order to not lose my mind, because it was really, really devastating. And then on a community level, we needed an event for women, that there were things that were happening. Here's one little mention. This is a NORML Women's Alliance. I was the Colorado chapter contact in 2010, 2011. Sabrina Fendrick enlisted me to be the contact. So I was that for a little while. So I do have some Colorado NORML connections. And that was the beginning of Mother's High Tea. And, really what what it's designed, as Julie mentioned, a few elements that it is about. It is family friendly. It's about dressing up, and it's about having inspiring speakers. It's sort of been on hiatus for a couple years because of a pandemic that's raging. So hopefully next year we will we will be able to gather and blow the roof off with our enthusiasm to be able to gather again. Now, I'd like to go on and talk about a few sort of historical things and some of my archives behind me. So I kind of consider myself politically retired. And I'll rest on my laurels of like, okay, I worked really hard to legalize marijuana. Jerry's on a whole other level. But so I worked on the campaign starting on Amendment 20. And so you see back here, this 420 sign, this was an activist project that Doss and I did. We screen printed our own yard signs for Amendment 20 because there was really no budget in the campaign. And so I was volunteering. So we saw a need for some kind of exposure in signs. So we just printed up 100 at a time. We did 200 and we just drove around and stuck them in, places, kept a few for commemorative sake. But that's one of my highlights, was working on Amendment 20. I was a safer volunteer. So I worked on all of the Denver initiatives, gathering signatures and working on the campaigns. Worked on Amendment 64, as many of us here did. And then also when medical was being implemented, this was one of my protest signs. Legislative action, not emergency amendments. Not the most fluid protest, sign, but the point was let's have, thoughtful legislation rather than emergency amendments to, for the development of the medical marijuana program. The medical marijuana program, I did find my card. This was my very first card, number 38. So I was I had a part of my green underground railroad of just helping patients that were in need during the drug war. The man who was the patient number 1 was actually kind of a refugee in some sense. I mean, he's a Colorado resident, but he was living with me, and so at that time he got his card, and then afterwards decided to make me caregiver. So I was caregiver to the first patient on the registry. My card says 38. And a few other things, the launch of the women's marijuana movement in 2012. So we've got that. Amendment 64, when they realized that they should tailor their campaign messaging to women because women voters were influential in passing marijuana legislation. If anyone wants to read more about 20 or so women in the Colorado community, there's Breaking the Glass Ceiling that Ashley Piccolo and Lauren Devine wrote a few years ago. And then I want to, my final moments here, I'm timing myself. I would like to share this. One of my highlights was being involved with this. Pretty exciting. Cancel, dismiss. So the hemp connoisseur, So this was the covering the first sale for at Tony Fox's shop. And I was pretty thrilled to be, this is a picture that I took. And when I was covering this for the Hemp Connoisseur, I was in the photo pit with all these photographers. And it was me and Kim Sidwell. And I just went up to Kim and said like, hey, while all these other photographers are like elbowing each other out of the way. And I'm like, no. We've been here. And so I got to pick a spot and I was like 6 feet away from the first sale. So that was very, very exhilarating and, you know, just a huge memory. And so I think that it was kind of after that point that I was like, you know, I don't think it could get any better than this. But in summation, we are all part of history. I mean, every single one of us has stories to tell and things to share of ways that they have incorporated, you know, just communication and talking to people in outreach, in policy, in persuasion, and then in achieving business, you know, business firsts, whether it's a personal first or it's within, you know, the community. There's so much opportunity, and you know, that we have all been playing a part, and I have really enjoyed my time, you know, ever since I moved out here to Colorado in 1996 to be part of this frontier and to help develop something that is different. And hopefully it is one that is more inclusive as we remember women in Women's History Month. Thank you.
That was awesome. Thank you. And
Thank you.
just FYI, Kim is on the live on Facebook. So shout out Kim Sidwell.
Well, and I wanted to also bring up the fact that you always have Kim Sidwell with Cannabis Camera at your mother's high tea events. And I took my son to the very first one I went to. And I just remember everybody dressing him up and putting those hats on and cute little bows around the neck. And it was a blast. And I just want to thank Kim Sidwell at Cannabis Camera for what she does. She did our first event for Dia de los Muertos in 2019. And that was
lovely. Yeah. Kim has so much of the history of the movement on film.
Yeah, and thank you for taking us down memory lane. I like that you're number 38. That's awesome. All right. Also, there was something else I wanted to say, but I'll wait till the end. Go ahead, Julie.
Okay, so it looks like Ty may have a customer. So I guess we're going to go to Jerry next, and you have the background.
Hello, are you ready?
Not quite yet. Let Ashley say something real quick.
My bad.
Jerry, I would really like to give you an award for the many things you have done for so many people. Susan Squibb has she didn't even know about this award, and here she is already saying that you were one of the first people to help her. But I wanted to create an award for Women's Cannabis History Month, and we're going to at our first in-person event, we're going to give you an award, and we want to do it in person. So we're going to wait until then, but you have won the Women in Cannabis Award from Colorado NORML. You've helped so many people, and I can't even thank you enough for what you've done on this board, what you've done for the Democratic National Committee, where you sit, the voice you have, and really what makes our our chapter so much more credible is to have you on our board. And I want to thank you so much. And I know Julie has some other kind words she would like to share too. So I'm gonna
I mean, that was just it, you know, when Ashley and I were planning this, and you know, we got gone through the whole year, you know, what's this month, what's that month, and we got women history, and I was just like, Ashley, we have on our board the woman in cannabis history, and let's take this opportunity to surprise and really honor Jerry. And she thought it was a great idea. Everybody thought it was a great idea. So, and we definitely do. And we were talking, we couldn't even figure out how long it's been, how long you've been in the fight. Now, Susan brought up 1996. When did you get in cannabis reform?
I can tell you that I've supported legalization pretty much all my adult life. I think it was 91. I, as a defense lawyer, I get all these things for seminars, and they had a thing for the NORML Legal Committee, and Tony Seritt was speaking. So my plan was to go up there for one night to hear Tony, as everybody's heard of Tony Seritt if you're a defense lawyer. And it ends up that I stay the whole weekend. I barely got over Independence Pass before it got dark. You don't want to drive Independence Pass in the dark because you're about to, you know, afraid to fall off the damn mountain or something. But it was extraordinary how much I learned. Jerry Goldstein had this Fourth Amendment packet about that thick that I used for years, and I think I still have it. And every time I go to one of those seminars, my theory has been, I hang out people smarter than me, some of it might rub off, but I think it becomes an exchange of ideas. We trade with each other, and don't have to be a lawyer to have good ideas and good thoughts on things. And of course, how NORML has evolved. It's not just, obviously it's about freedom for patients and consumers, but we've made room for business people who respect patients and respect consumers and see who act as part of our community, and we want to encourage that business model of, you know, not just what the late Hunter S. Thompson called the grinning hippie capitalist, or what I call, you know, the white dudes and polo shirts effect, but people who really care about the plant and care about the people and care about it as medicine, as food, and as a symbol, a very strong symbol of freedom.
Thank you for everything you've done and for the fight you've been fighting for cannabis for this long and will continue to do forever, I know.
I'll do everything I can, and we've got some stuff coming up, so, you know, find a way to cattle prod your state representative and state senator to say, just say no. Remember the just say no. We tell people just say no to bad policy and the things that hurt patients and hurt consumers and hurt people.
Yes, exactly what Susan said with your not exactly the most beautiful sign to, but you know, we want to pass sensible legislation and something that we don't have to go back in and amend and amend and amend. Like, I do like your sign. We need to make that a t-shirt.
It is a good sign.
Is Ty back with us yet? Or do we want to check in with Carla if she can hear us to see?
Let's check in with her. That sounds like a fun thing, but thank you all very much. I should, you know, thank you for having me as part of the board, and thank you all for everything you all do as well. So yeah, I want to see what's cooking.
Jerry, you're a Colorado treasure in many, many different forms. So it's been a privilege to serve with you for the last 6 years.
Absolutely.
How do I-
Hi, Carla.
Hello. Here, let me. Wait.
Are you ready, or should Ty go first?
Can you see me or Carla?
We see you.
You see
We
me,
see
yes.
you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Carla, are you ready, or should Ty go first?
Let Ty go first, and then I'll
Okay.
go.
All right. I'm going to tell on her a little bit. Over the summer, I had a lot of complications with my cancer treatments. I just could not stay out of the hospital. And I got a phone call from a friend that said, hey, I've got a girlfriend that owns a dispensary, and she has a bunch of edibles and she wants you to come by. You've got your medical card, and she wants to help you. And I went, wow, okay, a dispensary that helps patients. This sounds awesome. I walked in and met the most magnificent woman. And I couldn't be more proud of her. Not only the first Black owned dispensary owner in Denver, the first in Colorado, the first anywhere dispensary owner. I mean, how many of us, I mean, that's just amazing. And she got involved, her business, Nature Med, in the early 2000s. Their flagship dispensary is Kind Meds on Santa Fe, and that's opened in 2009. She's an advocate for minority LGBTQ communities. And when I met her, have you ever met somebody and you know them, like your spirit goes, oh, hi, there you are. I've known you my whole life, and you've just met them. That's what I felt when I walked in the door. I had met a friend that I felt like had been there all the time, just waiting on me to show up. So without any further, let me turn this over to Ty and definitely give her chance to be honored as Women in Cannabis History, because she definitely has a lot of history in cannabis.
I appreciate you, Julie. You're such a sweetheart, and you an inspiration to me because the amount of energy, like, that's like, I don't even know how to do it. It's like Julie can do it, I can do it. Okay. So I've been in this industry in 2009, like Julie's have stated. Um, I'm disabled. I was buying a lot of medicine that was really, really expensive, which did not make sense at all. Um, and I told my wife, it's like, babe, it's just open up a dispensary. It's only weed. It shouldn't be that difficult to do so. Of course, you didn't need to have a grow. And the year following, they say you have to grow. And we didn't know how to grow. And then, of course, she learned how to grow. It was a lot of trial and error. We bought some clone and bought some seed, and they pollinated. It's a learning experience. And after what, 12 years, here we are, still going strong. I want to keep the medical industry alive. I see that it's shrinking. We're down to what, about 90,000 medical patients in the state. And it's truly sad. And they're constantly regulating our dosage, which is not right. Okay. This is medicine. If you want to regulate something, regulate recreational. Okay. Those are the people that they don't know what they're doing. They're coming out of state, they're visiting, and it's more of a leisure drug for them. And this is our medicine. So I hope to keep medical strong and able to stop all this shrinking down all the medicine from 58 gram to 40 grams, and just let patients do their own, be their own doctor, pretty much. We know what we want. So. And can't you tell I'm super nervous? I'm not a public speaker, and I didn't know I was supposed to speak. So I apologize.
No, you did great. You did great. And I tell you what, already, on our board meetings, having your input as a dispensary owner, that we can take that to these representatives and go, look, we have a dispensary owner, a medical dispensary owner that says everything in this is, complete nonsense. You have such a powerful voice, and in being established, you're working directly with patients, nervous or not, shy or not, I felt like I just walked in and found us a cannabis diamond. So
I love what I do, and it's like I love seeing my patient. I worry about them when I don't see them for a while. It's like I say prayer. It's like hopefully they are doing well. I pretty much know each patient, not by name, 100%, but I definitely know everything about their family and what they're going through. So, yeah.
Well, I'm super excited, and I told you one time I felt like I manifested you. I had really dug deep into inequity and what could I do to make our board more representative of the community we serve. And I was reaching out to the Asian community, reaching out into the Latino community, and here you are. And I was looking for Asian LGBTQ and I got it. I got it. It's such a blessing to have you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the opportunity. And a lot of patients know what I'm doing and they're happy and they're very supportive. It's like, Ty, you need to get this rolling. And they've been telling me for many years that I need to get involved. And I was like, how? You know, and like, I'm just this woman. It's like, how can I get involved? I don't know anything. Nobody gonna listen to me. But obviously, you came into my life, Julie, and my attorney. And I appreciate the opportunity. And hopefully I can make a difference. So,
well, I know with you, we can bring more diversity. You're sitting on the board, and I want that young entrepreneur to look at you and go, I can do that too.
I think everybody can do it. If you have the heart and the will, you can make it happen. And you don't need to be a millionaire. You just have to be hardworking, you know?
Well, we appreciate you. Carla, are you done?
We're hungry over here. Carla, we would love to see you cooking. If you could keep your camera on, well, I guess it depends on how long your husband wants to hold the camera.
Oh no, he's good now.
Okay. You have, let me give you some shout out to that loving husband who's always at any event, trugging in coolers, help packing up, and your son. This has really been a family thing for y'all.
No, it really has. And yeah, it's Aiden. Aiden actually is the only person before Chris that ever does Chris and Aiden that has ever done my recipe besides myself. And up until probably like 8 months ago, Chris did the recipe, but Aiden's done it for years. So yeah, no, he definitely has grown up in the kitchen. That's for darn sure. Because my first kitchen was the Kitchen Network down in Denver in 2014, and then in 2015 I moved up to this kitchen here in Kittredge, and I've been there ever since. But yeah, I have pictures of him in the kitchen down in Denver in the very beginning. But yeah, let's just say if everything goes as planned, we've got some really big announcements coming soon. So it's going to be really exciting. So.
Okay. Good.
Anyway,
Good.
So yeah, we're going to be doing tacos tonight with the crumbles. And so, but this is actually the 3 products we have. The Hemp Burger is our flagship product. And then the crumbles is our second product. And then the Italian sausage is what we launched in the summer of 2019. And then it's actually this packaging, a friend of mine that I've known for a long time, 2 friends, started Barcode Branding in California, but they reached out to me and they said, no, we're going to do your packaging, and that's just all there is to it. And so it's been amazing. Mako was one of the lead designers, and she actually reached out and asked to do it because she was vegan. She is vegan, and she wanted to do like retail shelf type product design. So she spent hours in the grocery store. Her and I went back and forth on colors. So it was a very interesting process to go through packaging design. Yeah, anyway. So there's been so many fun aspects to this company. So anyway, what we have here is basically, kind of what's in your fridge. So instead of some lettuce, I did things a little different. I got some chard and some collard greens, slicing those up. I got a little bit of oil. and getting the pan preheated. So yeah, just slicing up that. Got a little bit of mushroom mixture. Got some lion's mane. Just a little bit. Didn't have too much of that left. Got some oyster mushrooms, and then some shiitake, portobello. Slicing those up. Some onions. So gonna get the crumbles. This is 8 ounces, 8-ounce pack. You know, funny story. I didn't have what I call real chef knives up until my birthday. My wonderful husband went and got me all these chef knives. So now I have like nice, like chefing knives. So I was going to an event. A friend of mine goes, Carla, you cannot go to this event with your knives. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm like, I know. I don't know. I've never gotten those things. And so, yeah. So, okay, I've got the crumbles in there, and then I just, I take them, I defrost them about 24 hours in advance, so that way I can just there, and then basically I scoop off all the ingredients in there. What I like to do is do a quick, but if you don't have obviously chard and collard greens, you can use something else. Squash, zucchini squash, yellow squash. It's, like I said, it's basically what's in the fridge. Makes amazing veggie tacos, pretty much anything. Or you don't have to use anything at all. You can just use the crumbles, but I like to throw in some extra kick just for some added nutritional value. I like to put a lid, and I do that for about 5 minutes. And then after about 5 minutes, I take the lid off, turn the heat up just a little bit, and then do it for about 8 minutes and stir 3 or 4 times during that process. But here we go. Voila, we have here. What I'm going to do is they just require a little flash heat. But I like to use coconut tortillas. These are gluten-free, all the above. They heat up well. And then we've got some other tacos. So I'll go ahead and do those. You can use cheese.
You can just add taco seasoning if you want it to have that Southwest kick.
Oh. I forgot the seasoning part. Silly me. It's actually, there's so little seasoning.
Well, this is a good opportunity to say, the crumbles are really versatile. They're not too much Italian or too much one thing or the other. So you can incorporate them into anything.
Yeah, and this is like I was just taking it on its own pattern. So what I did for this, the one that's right here, I did cumin, and then Himalayan salt, and then I do just a little bit of Cajun seasoning, and then we'll top it off with just a little bit of cilantro, green onion, and collard mix on the top. Like I said, I didn't have lettuce, so I did this instead. Again, tacos are just one of those things that works great as long as you have your shells. Then it's what's in the fridge. Now, I'm not a cheese person on the real cheese. I do, but I didn't have my normal shredded vegan cheese. But then when I do this, you don't need cheese if you don't want it. But yeah, so then I just, this is going to be kind of soft taco, crunchy taco. And then top it with some salsa. They do great, but they're delicious. But yeah, throw a little bit of sauce on there, and then you're good to go. These are not as pretty as the hot tacos. I just don't do corn. They are corn. And then I do want to introduce, look at this.
Oh,
Look at this little cuteness.
that's Wilson, right?
This is Wilson Dupree Boyd. He is our new little addition. We adopted him. So yes, I wanted to show everybody this cute littleness right here. Anyway, say hello.
Aw, he is adorable.
I know, isn't he cute? He's going to be the Hempway Foods mascot.
There you
Aw.
go.
So anyway, but yeah, thank you so much. Come here, Aiden. This is my son, Aiden. He has spent countless hours in the kitchen, as well as my husband. And yeah. Mwah.
Wow. He is so big. I remember when him and
No,
Colin
I know,
were,
Christina.
they're like running around at the hemp conferences all over the place, causing mischief with each other.
I know,
Oh
he's
my
almost as
gosh.
tall as me. I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
So I know he's going to be in high school next year.
Wow.
So yeah, I know. But yeah, no, so yeah, our products are really easy. It doesn't, like I said, you don't even have to throw extra ingredients in there. You can just use the crumbles and toast them up in general. Like I said, I just like to add a little extra kick. But it's just so easy. You throw a burger in the skillet with a little bit of oil. You throw the Italian sausage. You can use them as sliders, use them as breakfast. It's super nutritional. And it's not just about the protein. They definitely have a good amount of protein, but it's also about the essential nutrients that's in it. It's the omega, the 6 and the 3, the manganese, the magnesium, the iron, the potassium. I mean, hemp is just such a well-rounded ingredient. I think in the next, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to be seeing a lot more ingredients, and a lot more. And here and there, I'm seeing, they're not very pronounced about it, but here and there, I'm seeing hemp as a small ingredient, here and there. There's this company, they're out of, I believe, Oregon. It's called Moms, and they make this amazing little truffle, but they have a hemp cookie as well. And it's delicious, but they're gluten-free. They're very allergen-friendly companies. I'm seeing here and there, it's getting thrown in there, and we'll see it more and more over time. So, but yeah, it's such a great addition. Hemp is a chameleon. It blends itself with what you're coupling it with, and it's delicious and nutritious. So yeah, I've very much enjoyed talking about the company and showing you in the home of the Boyd Hempway Foods family. And thanks so much for having me. I very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here, Carla. You've been here since the very beginning. We've pretty much built this up, like I said, for how many years? I mean, at NOCO Hemp Expo years and years and years ago.
I know, I miss serving hemp burgers there. I really do. It's so fun, and it's so fun having people say that, I miss just events in general, and just having people talk about the food and how they've never had a hemp burger or hemp cheese before. I've been working on a hemp beer cheese. It's a little more solid than the my hemp nacho cheese sauce. But yeah, I miss those things. I miss trying out new things at the events. So one day soon.
So are you going to be attending the NOCO Expo this year? It's going to be in person.
I'll probably go per se, but I don't have a booth or anything like that. Food is just impossible to do right now. And it's hard to do a booth when you don't, when you're not. I did a booth once without being able to sample or anything. And it was just, everybody's like, well, how can I try it? And it was just different. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably definitely go. I just don't think I'll do a booth this year.
All right. Well, we'll see you there. Thank you so much for being on.
Of course, thank you.
All right, now that everybody's hungry, I bet they're hungry for some legislation, right? Hungry for the information, I'm sure. And Chris, you are our point person.
I know, I just almost feel like it's inappropriate for any of the male members of the board to speak this month. So I'd really like to just yield.
We'll allow it.
Okay.
We will, yes.
As long as we remember who's running this.
No, this industry and movement being new has a responsibility to look like today. And I'm glad to finally live in America that is reflective by the company and associations on a board like NORML and Colorado NORML. So it's good to be amongst all of you. All right, so we're going to talk just briefly some of a couple of bills that have come up just recently, session 2021. So House Bill 211058. There's this movement to talk about the promotion of social distancing in the marijuana industry. And honestly, Julie, I wish I could defer to you on this because I know it's a topic that you've been engaged on. There is going to be a hearing this Thursday, the Thursday, March 18th, so next week at 1:30. It can be done in person, but if I understand correctly, it can also be done virtually. Is that right, Ashley?
Yes, it can be done virtually as well.
So this is an action alert. Go to the Colorado NORML website for more information. If you're on the Zoom, I'm sure we can post, and maybe even online, we can post a link to track any of these bills. And hopefully, if you can participate and have a personal narrative that complements a bill that's coming up that is compelling and can help let legislators see the impact of their policy ultimately on the end user, the resident citizens of the state, and in this case, our issues that we're concerned with, cannabis consumers, be they medical patients or recreational consumers. The next bill's Senate Bill 56 to expand cannabis-based medicine at school. I remember this victory several years back. We have a number of younger patients that are cannabis consumers, especially the topic was around seizures and epilepsy. And the need for these patients to be able to have access to medicine during school hours. I remember that because it used to be parents finally want access to get onto school. The conversation moves now whether staff and nurses on schools can become administrators of these products and these medicines. So the movement of policy as we mature in cannabis legalization, it doesn't stop, it keeps going. And so now we're talking about the issue of the expansion of. So Education Committee is Wednesday, February, well, this was Wednesday, February 24th. Thank you, Ashley. This one passed. So we'll need to follow up and see where that bill's moved on to. Likely there's a chance for amendments if, God forbid, something that is onerous does move to the next level. Senate Bill 111, program to support marijuana entrepreneurs. This passed in the Senate 4-3 on the 23rd, passed in the House. Third reading is March 5th, and it's headed to the governor's desk. So a first victory for cannabis normalization in 2021. The last one we're talking about right now is 1090, which is criminal marijuana offenses. Bill is requires the court to seek conviction records without an opportunity for district attorneys to object. Look, we've now gotten to expungement. We still have marijuana prisoners even here in Colorado that have not moved yet through the process to get out. Even a large number of people, thousands, tens of thousands of people in the state of Colorado with prior marijuana convictions, even felonies, now have the ability to expunge this from their records, and very few people are aware that this process even exists. And so it's nice to see Representative Valdez step up and try to make that process a little bit more fair. That's it for right now. I know we're going to be doing another meeting in the near future with more of an update, but so back to you, Ashley.
Thank you, Chris. There were actually 4 more bills that were just introduced recently, and I quickly looked those over for our Sunday Goods update. I hope all of everybody who's following Colorado NORML is looking out for our videos that we stream live every Sunday to kind of let you know what's new, what's passed, and then we just kind of re-go over everything at our monthly chapter meeting. So I appreciate that, Chris. And without you legislatively, we wouldn't be moving past sensible legislation and always having to be there. Like you said, it's always a continuous thing, always having to be there.
Ashley, you look, Jerry's been on the board for a long time, has a career in public defense, and has been on that front line defending cannabis patients that would have otherwise been just rolled over by the system. But Ashley, you coming on the board, you've been a very active and present face at the Capitol now for almost 7 years that I remember. And had an impact from the very beginning, and are continuing to have an impact now, Julie, from the day you got here. Susan, I remember meeting you when I first came to Denver. It was really nice hearing the history of just how far back your activism goes. I didn't know you went back to 420. I love a little bit of history is Amendment 20 passes in Colorado in 2000, a very messy national federal election. And if I'm right, it passed 52-48, I think was the final number. Susan, I don't know if that's right or not. But when Al Gore was campaigning for the campaign for presidency, he was asked where he stood on Amendment 20, and he could have stood by states' rights, the incubator of democracy, let the people speak. And what he said instead was too soon, too fast, no real credible science, not the type of move even a state should make. And he goes on to lose Colorado 50.2 to 49.8. So for 400 basis points or 4% is the victory for compassion and patients' rights, and a 0.4% is the margin of loss. And 3 electoral votes from Colorado. Everyone can say that this was decided somewhere else. The 2000 election was decided in Colorado. So good work on Amendment 20. You're on mute, Ashley. Say all that all over again.
Thank you. Eddie let me go 2 minutes talking on Sunday without me even knowing I was on mute. I was like, dang it, 2 minutes. I was just saying, I'm going to go over the 4 bills that were just recently introduced. There were 2 introduced on March 4th, and this bill is 1178. It's correcting errors in the Colorado marijuana code. And this is just really it defines what a medical marijuana, or not medical, but marijuana transporter is, and it just codifies some of the laws and redefines some of the things that are newer here in Colorado. Another one is HB 21-1214, which is the record sealing collateral consequence reduction. This is the bigger and broader bill of what Chris was just discussing with us with expungement and lessening criminal records, and what this one's going to do so much. This was introduced by Representative Weissman, Senator Coleman, and Senator Lee, and I look forward to bringing more information about that bill to you guys at a later date. I just started looking over it. There were 2 introduced on the 5th, and one was House Bill 1216, which is a marijuana license's ability to change their designation. So this is concerning the ability for certain marijuana licensees to change their designation of marijuana from retail to medical. And we see this in Aurora. Aurora doesn't have medical in their municipality. So if this allows now medical dispensary or recreational dispensaries to pick up and a medical and become medical, then this would expand medical into Aurora if their municipality allowed. And I think that would be a good thing on their part. Let's see, there was one more. Oh, this one was introduced on March 3rd. Representative Snyder. This one has to do with limitations on regulated marijuana delivery. There's been many stakeholders meetings taken place, and this is the third draft of the bill. And this is House Bill 1159. And what this bill is going to do, what this bill they're trying to do, I guess I should say, is stop an Amazon model type delivery system where everybody, well, this one company comes in and has a shell store set up, and they can just hire a few delivery drivers, delivery cars, and take it from the shell stores or straight from the warehouse out, and not have the overhead of a brick and mortar. And here in Colorado, we fight so hard for our people who have started from the beginning, like Ty, and who stand so much for the patients and the patients' rights, and really what cannabis is all about. And it's not a corporate, it's a plant, it's personal, it's healing. And I believe that this is what this bill's going to stop. So we just have to figure out language that's best going to support that that preference and move forward from there. And that is all of the legislative stuff that we have for you. On another note, we have Lobby Week coming up, and that is the last thing we need to talk to everybody about. And Lobby Week is coming up so soon. And I am going now to put in the chat, if you want to sign up for Lobby Week, how to do so. But what we're looking for is any volunteers who would like to call, email the representatives, and set up any scheduling that we can meet with them. We're looking for constituents in each district. So if you would like to speak with your representative or get to know who your senator or your House rep is, this is the perfect time to get involved. And I'm going to add this. It is, if you would like to get on right now, it's coloradonormal.org/lobby week, and just sign up there. It has you input your first name, last name, email address, and we just need to know your zip code and whether or not you're interested in observing or participating as a constituent, or wanting to volunteer in calling each one of these representatives and helping us schedule out these meetings. So what we're going to go in and do at these meetings is introduce who we are, what we do, and then just give them a little 5-minute educational video on what the endocannabinoid system is, so they know what they're working with. Because when legislators are put between what our medicine is and what our doctors are able to recommend, this needs to be more of an educational piece than anything. So we will have an educational and informational piece from 8 to 10, and from 10 to 5 will be scheduled out legislative meetings with each representative. So please sign up. It is in the chat, and we look forward to having you there. And I'm sure Julie could bring in some more people with her ability to market and her gift of tongue. So also we're still needing members. I have a stack out there on my table ready to mail out, and anybody who would like to become a member with Colorado NORML, please sign up today or tonight, and I'll get that out in the next couple days. And we look forward to 420. And are we going to meet with you, everybody, before 420? And I know, Julie, we've been discussing on perhaps having an in-person meeting for 420. I don't want to get everybody. I don't want to get everybody too excited
on what it is. But all right, so here's how we're looking at it. And we have a real responsible governor. Colorado is not Texas or Florida or Mississippi, and where we want to do our 420 event, they are in the blue for 60%. We also are thinking about doing a very fun socially distanced fundraiser. And so be looking for that advertisement. It's, I think it's going to be safe. It's only going to be a 60% capacity. So when we say sign up, get your tickets, you better sign up and get your tickets, because we expect it to be gone and full very, very quickly, except for the fundraiser. And you will hear more from me on social media.
And one more thing is the Hunter S. Thompson Scholarship. This is far in advance, but it is June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I just kind of wanted to give everybody a heads up that we, Colorado NORML, have been doing Hunter S. Thompson Scholarship for every year for, Jerry, do you remember when we started those scholarships?
It's been a while. I couldn't tell the exact year. That's really Lauren Mayton's baby. It's
yes.
She lives in Aspen. I think she knew the good doctor fairly well. And this is I'll issue an invitation. Anybody's anything cool that they can contribute to the cause. What we do with this is that there's a committee of us that awards scholarships to people, and we try to get people in who would not normally be able to afford to go otherwise. People who defend people, people of color, women, and other folks who may not otherwise be able to go, but we know can contribute to the discussion and can take the knowledge away and use it in their communities and in their work. So we look forward to that. I'm always amazed how many awesome people we got applying. I just wish we had more scholarships.
Yes, and like Jerry said, we could use any donations and all donations with your name if you're wanting to get it out there. In Aspen, we have a silent auction that we do every single year, and that's what supports our scholarships. And as Jerry said, we have so many applicants and so many great applicants, and they don't have to be just lawyers. They can be advocates working towards a cause. It doesn't just have to be a law student or a lawyer. But we look forward to seeing those every year and reading them and actually being able to give out those scholarships. So just kind of wanted to give everybody a heads up and to look out for when we're going to have a deadline to have those. And if anybody is interested, it is going to be in June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that's really the only updates I have for everybody besides lobby week next week. And we have a fortunate circumstance to where we get to have lobby week virtually, to where it gives us an intimate setting to sit with our legislators without having to worry about moving chairs around, making enough room for everybody. But we also have a bill that Chris was talking about. It's 1058, which is promoting social distancing, and that's the telehealth bill. So those of you who are interested in testifying at the Capitol, I will be there in person, and there will be somebody else running the meetings that day. But if anybody's interested in testifying in person that day, there will be a sign up thing for whenever you sign up, and we'll go from there. And I look forward to seeing all of you at lobby week and the volunteers that we get. See, Yardia already says I volunteered for lobby week. There's people volunteering, so far so good.
Okay.
All right, everyone. I think we've had a great meeting. I want to thank you, Jerry, so much. Thank you, Ty, Carla, and Susan. Julie, thank you very much for everything you do for the marketing part of Colorado NORML. And Chris, can't thank you enough as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for all you do, and thank you, everyone. It's been a great meeting. It's good to see everybody. And we have a question from Avanti. He had questions about volunteering. Good question. I think we have normal lobby week, and we can use some volunteers for that. If nothing else, contact your state rep and state senator about these important issues. If you can come down or testify virtually, that's fine. We'll have other events in the future that you might want to volunteer on as well. And some of them are actually kind of fun.
Or he can find us on social media. It's usually either Ashley or I that answers on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It'll definitely be me if it's Twitter.
Yeah, I don't like to tweet. I'm not the tweeting type.
Yeah, we're like the couple that used to live together. One would eat no fat and one would eat no lean. I don't do Instagram and she doesn't do Twitter, so we get it done.
We'll get it done either way, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you all enough for how well this March meeting went. We didn't have any hackers this time. This was our second virtual meeting, and we look forward to more people at 420. And actually, we look forward to being in person. So just keep an eye out for that. And if not, we will definitely have a breakout room where we can smoke on camera, but with each other off camera, if that makes sense. All right. You guys have a very good night. And
good night. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Good night.
Good night.